All right, so let's go over today. Today for me was a no trade day in the big account. I did take some trades in my small account, but I'm not going to go over that in today's recap because these recaps are really for my main account and my small account challenge. I'm doing weekly updates, so that's coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so for the big account today, there were no trades. Let's look at the charts and I'll walk you through why I didn't take any trades. Okay, so my main issue today was that our leading gapper was 23%, right? We didn't have any big leading gappers, except for the leader, which was AGFY. It's a 1.49 million share float. Fantastic. It's got 47 million shares of volume, which is crazy high. Relative volume is super high. It does have news, so like check, check, check. But the price action. So the price action on it. So if I pull up the level 2 on it, let's see, where is it here? So what you'll notice on the level 2 is that this is very thickly traded. When I say thickly traded, I mean it's congested, it's crowded. There's a lot of buyers, there's a lot of sellers, there's a lot of market makers, there's a lot of algos. It's just a tug of war. And when it gets this congested, they kind of stop moving. Now, when you have something like GameStop, which is, obviously a crazy event that happened, but that did have a lot of trading, but it was imbalanced heavily to the buy side. There were a lot more buyers than there were sellers. And part of that was also because of the options on it. So a lot of people were buying calls, and then that forced other traders who were selling calls to be secured by positions, so they had to buy. So it kind of created this spiraling effect. With something like AGFY, we're seeing a lot of volume, but it's more balanced between buyers and sellers. So you could ask two questions. One, why are buyers not confident enough to be buying it more and then therefore tip the balance to the buy side? I mean, yes, it's up 73%. And then on the other hand, why are sellers selling as much as they are? Why are they so confident that it's not going to hold these levels? So we could back this off here. I'll put this over here. So if we look at the chart, this morning, it pops up initially on fairly light volume. And, this often happens. It's kind of interesting. So it goes from, yesterday, 117 right there. It goes up to, a high of 250. Then it pulls back here down to the support area. So it basically goes from 116 up to $2 on 150,000 shares of volume. So 150,000 shares of volume sent the stock up $1 a share, just about. And so what is interesting is that clearly it would only take 100,000 shares of volume, right, to send it back down if there were no buyers on the bid. But it has held at least this $1 level, even though a lot of volume has come in. So it is holding a good portion of its gains. But what happened for me was we first have the spike, we have the move up, it pulls back, then it kind of does this rally back up. I really did not expect it to rally back up. And the reason is, number one, we had tweezer top right here. So those two topping tails right next to each other, reversal indicator, very hard to reclaim those levels. False breakout right here, false breakout right here. So when it came back up here, I was like, no way am I getting in. And you know what? It went higher than I expected. And then it pulled back, and then it came all the way back up to a new high a day, right? Came all the way up to 59. And I was like, wow, again, I didn't expect that, but that's impressive. So then as the day goes on, we have this long period of consolidation, very thickly traded. And what I really thought was going to happen based on these topping tails back here was that it was going to break out and then flush down. And the way this happens, this pop and then rejection, when you have a burst of buying volume, and you certainly had it on that candle, the market makers see those buy orders coming in and they pull their sell orders off the offer. They take them away. So when there's a lot of volume and the stock's more or less going sideways, they fill it in with a lot of density. There's a lot of sell orders, there's a lot of buy orders. It's very thick. But then when there's these bursts of buying volume or selling volume, they'll remove their orders. So they cancel their orders and they pull them out. And all of a sudden, the stock can jump up 5, 10, 15 cents. And then what can happen is someone presses the sell button for a big chunk of shares, 50,000 shares, 100,000 shares. And then the market maker sees all those sell orders coming through and they clear the bids. They take away all their buy orders and then it drops back down. And so that's how we have those whipsaw moves. They're definitely, it's a, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't say a feature, but it's, it's the result of the degree of algorithmic trading that we see in the market, especially on these crowded stocks. So anyways, this one surprisingly held. And I was like, well, I could get in here, but I didn't feel like I would really have an edge. I just didn't feel confident. And since I had a red day yesterday, I was just like, I just think I should sit out. This is just the type of stock that usually I don't do super well on. So anyways, if I'd had a cushion on the week or was green on the day already, maybe I would have taken that trade, but I wasn't and I didn't. So anyways, it grinds up here to a high of 280, false breakout right here, flushes down here, comes back up, big drop right here. And then, kind of bounces off VWAP back up, back down, double tops here around 80, and then flushes down hard and is now back in this area. So, it just, not a super clean chart. When you're looking at the 1 minute, it's like, where was the clean pattern? Do you see really any clean patterns on this? I see the wedge that broke out right here, but I think you had good reason to be cautious on it based on the price action from earlier in the day. There was a little 1 minute pullback right here, which wasn't bad. That was okay. But as I looked at that, I was like, well, but what about these two topping tails here? I think it's going to reject off 50. So I saw it and chose not to take it. So even the patterns that were there, I saw them forming and I was like, nah, I just don't trust it. So that was our leading gapper today. And aside from that, we didn't really have anything else that was gapping up. So as the day went on, I started seeing a couple other stocks hitting the scanners like JSPR, or there were a few others that hit the scans, lighter volume, SELZ. I was like, you know what? This is what happened yesterday. I got, sucked into Roma and then DWAC. They weren't leading gappers. They weren't super obvious. And I got smoked. So I'm not going to do that again. And then my computer did a blue screen and turned off. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the message there that it's time just to shut it down. So anyways, loaded things back up to do this recap. But I'm not going to take any more trades or any trades in my big account today. I just don't think it's worth it. So, I'm disappointed that yesterday I gave into sort of that impatience. I didn't maintain my discipline. And as a result, I took a good size loss. So I have to sit with that now. And today was a good opportunity to test discipline, be patient, and not take any trades because nothing was really A quality. We're in a cold cycle right now. And I know even if we're in a warm cycle or even in a hot cycle, my profits typically do come from a small handful of really, really strong days. That's when I'm like crushing it. And then everything else is kind of like base hit stuff, small green days, relatively, small red days, whatever, relative, it's all fine. So this month so far has just been a lot of small green days and then 2 maybe small red days and then a bigger red day yesterday. Okay. So anyways, I got to get myself, just focused on hitting some nice little base hits and keeping my head above water until the next hot cycle begins or until the next, big move starts. And I don't know when it's going to be. You never do. So I show up every day and I'll give it a chance, but I'm not going to overstay my welcome because I can only maintain that discipline for so long each day before I'm just going to I'm just concerned that I'll make a mistake. So yeah, so that's it for me. Anyways, 10:30 here, wrapping it up, calling it a day. Not a very strong day in the market, but it is what it is. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Reminder as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, and there's no guarantee you'll find success. Whether you trade with me or you learn on your own. So make sure you take it slow, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning.